This is Martin Vael. The time is 9:14 p.m. I am beginning a physical inventory of Substack C. There are 48 cabinets in this room. I will not finish tonight. I will finish over the course of 2 weeks. I have allocated approximately 4 hours per evening. Tonight's section is C11 through C15. I am counting reels against the catalog manifest. Catalog says 53. I will count 53. If I do not count 53, I will count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 21, 22, 23, 40, 41, 42, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54.
She was here first.
The audit was paused at approximately 10 p.m. The discrepancy in Substack C11 was logged. One unidentified reel, located between catalog positions C11027 and C11028. No call number. No label adhesive residue. No identifying ink. The cataloger's stamp is absent. I will describe this in plain language. This is the kind of detail you record when there is nothing else to record. The reel is on an aluminum hub. The alloy is consistent with pre-1955 production. The flange is type 3 polystyrene, also pre-1955. The tape is acetate base, brittle to the touch, with surface oxidation in a band along the outer edge. By visual inspection alone, this reel is older than anything else on the shelf. Substack C begins in 1959. This reel does not belong here. The dust on the reel is uniform. The reels around it have asymmetric dust patterns consistent with periodic handling. This reel has not been handled in a long time, but it has not been undisturbed either. The dust suggests it was placed on the shelf at a single moment and not touched since. I am going to follow procedure. I am going to photograph the physical artifact, fill out a Form 17 for unverified provenance, and submit a chip from the leader for chemical analysis. This is the standard process for unidentified material. The form requires a reason for analysis. I am writing anomalous shelving. I am not writing this should not exist. The lab will return results in approximately 48 hours. In the interim, I will continue the inventory. I noted earlier that an event was logged at the moment of discovery. I am not addressing that here. There is a category in our system for material observations and a separate category for unverifiable acoustic events. I am keeping them separate. The lamp is steady. 2 days later, lab results. The technician identifies the oxide as Agfa LGS26. This formula was introduced in 1962 at the Wolfen plant in East Germany. It is a cobalt-doped iron oxide. The technician notes that the chemical identification is unambiguous and gives a confidence rating of 99%. The same report estimates degradation consistent with approximately 70 years of ambient archival storage. 70 years places the tape's beginning in the late 1940s. The formula did not exist before 1962. The tape's degradation began in the 1940s. Both findings are presented in the same paragraph by the same technician using the same equipment. Both are flagged as high confidence. I am reading the technician's notes section now. He has written, "Recommend resampling. Original chip may have been contaminated during handling. Please submit fresh sample if you wish to confirm." I am not going to resubmit. The first sample was clean. The result will be the same. I am loading TR4A for transfer. Format is consistent with consumer-grade quarter-inch tape, 3 3/4 inches per second. There are no leader splices. The leader is original. There's no evidence of over-recording. The tape begins with approximately 12 seconds of room tone. Then a radio is audible at low volume. The signal is faint. The content appears to be a domestic broadcast. Period orchestral programming. I will let it play.
Wednesday, 3 minutes past 9. I'm doing this so I have a record. Albert says I'm being silly, but Albert isn't the one who has to remember everything. The Crosley is on the second shelf. The Crosley is on the second shelf, and the brown wire is the one for the antenna, and the grey wire is the one I cut last Tuesday because of the spark. I'm saying it out loud because I'm trying to remember. Tonight on KDKA, the broadcast from the auditorium, Mr. Stewart conducting. I'm capturing it for my own use. Albert says I should listen to it like a normal person.
Margaret Hollis. Address unknown. Active period unknown. She is documenting an amateur radio capture for personal reference. The KDKA reference dates the broadcast to 1948 at the earliest. Mr. Stewart, presumably Reginald Stewart, conducted the Pittsburgh Symphony from 1944 to 1952. The interior reference, the wire she cut on Tuesday, indicates this is not her first recording. There were earlier ones. They are not in this archive. She speaks for approximately 17 minutes, mostly procedural. The radio plays in the background under her voice. She narrates her own actions as if to remember them later. I have flagged 3 points of interest for review. The first point of interest occurs at 6 minutes, 14 seconds. She is speaking about her routine. I will play it.
I keep the recordings in the linen closet. Albert doesn't go in there. He says he doesn't, but I know he does. Same as the recall of 62. He said he wouldn't, and then he did.
The recall of 62. The Cuban Missile Crisis began in October of 1962. President Kennedy's address was on the 22nd, the military readiness alert, the school drills. Margaret Hollis is making a recording in 1948. She mentions the recall of 62 as if it has already happened. She mentions it casually, as an example of something her husband does. I rewound. The sentence is identical. There's no edit. The tape is single-pass acetate. There's no splice within 15 seconds before or after. I am going to consider possibilities in order. 1. She is a different Margaret Hollis. The reference to 1962 is contemporary, and the references to KDKA and Stewart and the radio equipment are her own past, recalled in a later recording. This would require the formula match to be wrong, which the lab does not allow. 2. She is the same Margaret Hollis, but the recording has been doctored. This would require seamless splicing on single-pass acetate, which the lab does not allow. 3. She is making a reference to something else by accident that resembles the language of the 1962 crisis. The recall of 62. The recall is specific. The number is specific. It would not be accident. 4. She is speaking to a future listener. She is not narrating her present. She is referencing what she knows will be common reference when this recording is heard. I do not accept the fourth possibility. I am noting it for completeness. The second point of interest occurs at 9 minutes, 40 seconds.
The light on the porch. I keep meaning to fix it. It blinks like it's trying to spell something. Albert says it's the wiring.
She listens still.
I should fix that wiring tomorrow, or maybe Friday.
The pause between her sentences contained one inserted phrase. The phrase is on the same tape, recorded in the same continuous pass, with no acoustic discontinuity. It is at the volume of an inserted voice that was always there. She listens still. I am writing it into the log. The voice has now appeared on tape number 42. The voice has now appeared in the pause of a private domestic recording made in 1948 on a tape that did not exist until 1962. The third flagged moment is at 15 minutes, 3 seconds. I am going to come back to it. I am going to continue the inventory first. 2:14 a.m. I returned to the inventory. I had decided that the irregularity at C11 might be the only such instance. I had decided this without any reason to believe it. A clerical anomaly. One reel out of position. It happens. It happens 4 or 5 times a year. I have logged similar things, and I have continued my work. I am going to find another one. Substack D3. Between catalog positions D3105 and D3106. One unlabeled reel. Aluminum hub. Acetate base. Identical visual signature to TR4A. I am going to keep looking. Substack F7. 1. Substack B2. 1. Substack G12. 1. Substack A9. 1. Substack E1. 1. 7. Including TR4A. 7 unlabeled reels. All on aluminum hubs. All on acetate base. All physically older than the stacks they occupy. All located between 2 correctly cataloged positions. All undisturbed by the dust pattern around them. The catalog says they are not here. The catalog has said they are not here for 60 years. I am collecting them on a single cart. I am bringing them to the booth. I am going to photograph each one and submit a chip from each leader. I am not going to play them tonight. I am going to log the 7 artifacts and lock the booth and go home. It is 3:17. The lamp is steady. There is a marking on the inside of the hub of reel 6. Pencil. Very faint. I am blowing the dust off. The marking is a date. 5/12/84. Date format ambiguous. Could be May 12th, 1984. Could be the 12th day of May or the 5th day of December. The format is not standardized for marginal notation. I am photographing the marking. I am logging the date as written without interpretation. The lamp is steady. I am closing the audit. 3:51 a.m. I am closing the log. 7 objects have been catalogued as unverified provenance. Physical samples have been bagged and labeled for submission to the lab tomorrow. They will be sent through the same intake channel as the first sample. The lab will respond in approximately 96 hours. Reviewer field, M. Vael. Status, pending. Notes, field. Anomalous shelving. See attached photographs. The booth lamp continues to burn at a steady rate. I have not heard the voice in the room. The voice has appeared on a tape made in 1948 on a substrate that did not exist until 1962. The voice said 3 words. She was here first. She listened still. The pronoun is consistent. The voice is referring to the same person. The person is presumably Margaret Hollis, or another woman whose tape we have not yet found. I have 6 more to listen to before I know. I will listen to them in order. I will listen tomorrow. I will not listen tonight. I am turning off the light. End of log, 3:53 a.m.